Well, my goodness. When it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know the one that does that in women's sports. Notice I just didn't say women's basketball. In women's sports, we know who is not only moved the needle, but one could argue moved the needle and broke the needle clean off. And that is Caitlin Clark.
In women's basketball today, no one's making waves like Caitlin Clark. She's not just making headlines, she's changing the game. From setting new attendance records to leading jersey sales across the league and pulling in huge TV audiences, Caitlin's impact is on a whole different level. She's not just raising the bar, she's setting a new one.
Let's get to Luka Doncic, all right? Who, of course, plays for the Lakers now after having been traded from the Dallas Mavericks. And my goodness, he was asked about his favorite women's basketball player. This is hilarious.
Surprisingly, there are still people who don't see what's happening in women's basketball. That's where Luka Doncic comes in. He recently shared one of the most honest opinions we've heard in a while. When asked about women's hoops, he didn't hold back. He named Caitlin Clark as his favorite player. And while he acknowledged Paige Bueckers' talent, he didn't jump on the media bandwagon that's already calling her the next big thing before she's even played a WNBA game. If you're Team Caitlin, drop a CC in the comments. Let's go!
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Paige Bueckers?
Well, she's okay. I didn't see her playing the women's NBA, so.
Who just got drafted?
Number one.
Dallas.
Luka's reaction? Straight savage. He didn't even blink before dropping Clark's name. And when a reporter tried to pivot the conversation to Bueckers,
Luka's reaction was straight savage. He didn't even blink before dropping Clark's name, and when a reporter tried to pivot the conversation to Bueckers, Luka gave the verbal equivalent of a shrug emoji. "She's okay," he muttered casually, revealing that he hadn't even bothered to watch Paige in the WNBA because, well, there's nothing to see yet.
Hilarious. Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA, so okay. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Petty as F. It is, and it's great.
And that's the part the mainstream media doesn't want to hear. While some outlets are busy trying to stir up a rivalry, Luka's honest take just confirmed what fans already know. Caitlin Clark is the star of the moment, and Paige Bueckers still has something to prove.
And of course, the collateral part of that is he used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Bueckers plays now. And by the way, last I checked, her rookie game, debut game, still was not sold out as of yet, which tells you the impact or lack thereof. I mean, let's just be real.
Luka's response was both funny and eye-opening. He didn't trash anyone, he just wasn't buying into the media hype. Luka knows what real talent looks like, and when he watches Caitlin Clark, he sees a true superstar making history. When Paige Bueckers comes up, it feels more like hearing about a movie preview that hasn't hit theaters yet.
WNBA GMs have actually been talking about Paige, and thank God, like, just because you're seeing mad stuff, genuinely, you're going to be seeing mad stuff from the media, does not mean that the WNBA GMs are not being a little bit more honest with what they've said.
It's not about taking sides, it's about performance. Caitlin Clark has stepped up under pressure, broken records, and carried a team. Paige Bueckers has the hype, but that's about it for now. And that's the real difference. More and more coaches and analysts who know the game are starting to see it too. Paige still gets plenty of attention, but not many believe she'll shake up the WNBA the way Clark already has. In a league this competitive, talent has to be proven, not just promised.
As one general manager put it, I think she can impact the league immediately. She can be dangerous right away, which is true. Which is very, very true. Like, we can't lie and say that GMs last year did not literally say the words, I would trade my entire team for Caitlin Clark. Like, we can talk about that. Like, they did say that.
Luka's shrug wasn't just a funny moment, it was a reality check. Paige might be getting the buzz, but Caitlin Clark is making history. She's changing the way people watch women's basketball, how they talk about it, and even how they spend on it. Luka's lack of enthusiasm for Paige wasn't disrespect. It was just on.
I think it makes her special. She can fill a gap, she can fill whatever gap, and that's true. And that's the one thing with Paige, is Paige will always fit in, whereas Caitlin Clark was the system. Like, I don't know, like, how great Caitlin Clark would have been if you put her on, I don't know, she's good enough that if you put her on every team, she would have been insanely good. But, like, Caitlin Clark fits out. She is the system, and I can guarantee you that Caitlin Clark's system is going to win a ring very soon.
While Luka was cutting through the noise with honesty, others in the WNBA world seemed more interested in rewriting the story. Take Kurt Miller, GM of the Dallas Wings. He claimed Paige Bueckers would have a tougher rookie year than Caitlin Clark because Clark supposedly had an advantage with the Olympic break. Let's be real, that argument doesn't hold up. It's a stretch and honestly, kind of laughable.
Basically, Wings GM conveys key difference in Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark's rookie season. He said the one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish strong.
Caitlin Clark didn't enter the WNBA relaxed or recharged. She came off one of the toughest college seasons ever. She led Iowa all the way to the national title game while under nonstop media pressure. Less than 2 weeks later, she was already suiting up for WNBA training camp with the Indiana Fever. Voice note 9, there was no break, no easy transition, and no Olympic rest for Caitlin Clark, just non-stop exhaustion, media pressure, and sky-high expectations. She was thrown straight into the fire, tasked with saving a franchise and in many ways lifting the whole league. And what did she do? She excelled. She led the league in assists, shattered 62 records, filled arenas, and turned WNBA tickets into the hottest item in sports. So let's skip the excuse. Caitlin Clark had it easier is not only wrong, it's a slap in the face to everything she went through and achieved. It's a desperate attempt to create a rivalry that simply doesn't exist. Caitlin didn't need rest or a smooth start. She needed a basketball, and once she had it, she showed the world what greatness truly looks like. While Luka Doncic is out here keeping it real, the media still hasn't caught up. This isn't a rivalry. Paige Bueckers may be talented, but she's still in the shadow of a phenom. And if the early opinions from true basketball experts are anything to go by, that shadow is here to stay.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. On paper, you could make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments, you're not judged based on your stats, you're judged based.
There's been a quiet effort to lower the bar for Paige Bueckers, just in case she doesn't live up to the level Caitlin Clark set in her rookie season. But honestly, there's no comparison. Caitlin Clark has already cemented herself as the face of the WNBA. She's the breakout star who brought in new fans, filled arenas, and shattered TV records. Paige might have been a standout in college, but in the WNBA, she's still an unproven name.
These two were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
You know, she's been really disappointing this whole tournament.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game right now.
The impact was what we were supposed to, what we're led to believe. Two things would have happened there. All right. Her debut game would have been moved to the American Airlines Arena. It hasn't been. By the way, her game against Caitlin Clark has been moved there to where the Mavericks play. And it would have been sold out at record speed. Neither one of those things have happened. Keep that in mind, all right, as people tries to tell you who the equals are running around in this league. Nah. I don't see. Not only do I not think Paige is going to move the needle, I don't think she's going to flutter it. I don't think it's going to vibrate slightly. I don't.
So basically, we know Natalie Esquire, a serial hater when it comes to the Caitlin Clark fan base. She's pretty much a driving force behind a lot of the drama that take place in the media.
You have other people like Sabria Whitaker. I'm sorry. You have so many people out there, and people like this, the committee, which is, you know, a group of really, really strong women's basketball fans on Twitter. They have influence. Dawn Staley flew 2 members of the committee to South Carolina's opening game in Paris, okay?
So they're calling old guard WNBA fans the committee. These are the same people that is pushing race narratives. These are the same people that is bashing Caitlin Clark. These are the people she's talking about. The hate in Natalie Esquire heart is so strong, LOL. She said this in 4 different ways for absolutely no reason. NBC, at Indiana Fever. We don't want her covering America's team. Natalie Esquire said only one is super problematic, emo, in my experience, and based on listening to what has been said and reported on all year, it's a common theme. I only get harassed to endure racism, receive threatening emails, DMs from one fan base. So yes, it's one. It can apply in all of sports, but there is a notable difference in one fan base with respect to the W. This tweet said, no, it's one. It's not allegedly. This is my experience, and it only comes from a specific set of fans. So yes, for me, it's one fan base. You've already heard a player say in her career she's never experienced anything like this. Stop trying to violate our experience.
A lot of Caitlin Clark fans, and so many of them are not white. It's just insulting to assume that that's the case to the people that aren't white, to the Black Americans that do love Caitlin Clark.
Eaton Thomas contrasts how white Americans view the two based on stark differences in speaking out against racial injustice. Quote, perhaps it's because, unlike Clark, Bueckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court, Thomas wrote in a Guardian article.
It's really hard to impact the game as a rookie. One GM said, what Caitlin did last year was so special and unique. Paige is a special player. I think she'll be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and it's an unfair bar to set. Yes, obviously. Thank you for saying the obvious. Paige is going to be really, really good. But like, we have had the greatest rookie season for a guard of all time. The fact is that a lot of people are talking about it like Paige is a guarantee to be an MVP year one. And like, I genuinely think that I just don't think that's going to be the case.